7 years ago, a catastrophic event known as the Dungeon Break hit the world, unleashing terrifying creatures through portals that appeared out of nowhere. Many people, including Han Sung-hoon's parents, lost their lives. Sung-hoon swore to become a hunter and eliminate these monsters, but after 7 years of training, he was expelled from the Hunter Training Center. The director explained that those who awaken only have a few months to complete. Their training in Sung-hoon has exceeded that period. Despite Sung-hoon's persistence, his stats remained the same and he was unable to increase his status. A young girl's positive words, who was talking to her mother about her father who died saving people during the dungeon break, inspired Sung-hoon. He went to the director and begged to take the hunter exam once more, but the director punched him and called him a failure. As Sung-hoon lay on the ground, a notification appeared in the pool of water transformed. He fell deeper and deeper into the water until he stabilized and a notification appeared announcing the Tower of Trial had selected him as a suitable candidate from Earth. Sung-hoon chose the difficulty level and was transported to the first floor of the Tower of Trial. In an instant, Sung-hoon was transported to a scorching hot desert where he was presented with a weapon and given a notification about a survival trial. The prize was a unique trait which caught Sung-hoon's attention and brought back memories of his arduous 7-year journey as he approached the long sword. Stuck in the ground, the sand beneath his feet started to rumble and a notification announced the appearance of a sand golem. The trial's difficulty was set to hard, and the penalty for failure was death. Faced with the daunting task of surviving against the massive sand golem, Sung-hoon was torn between running for his life and fighting to the death. But then he remembered his training as a hunter and his confidence in his abilities. He realized that running away would only lead to a pathetic death, and decided to find a new way to survive. With his plan in mind, Sung-hoon lured the sand golem towards the summit, then used his momentum and blade to slide down the mountain, taking advantage of the golem's fall to destroy its core and emerge victorious. The sand golem started to fall apart, and Sung-hoon emerged from the sand. He was shocked that he had killed the golem, and covered in blood. He received a notification that he had cleared the first floor of the Tower of Trials and earned rewards including a unique necromancer trait and skills. An unknown object materialized in the air and a black fog appeared where the sand golem died. Sung-hoon absorbed the spirit of the sand golem and his proficiency increased by 7%. He now had 1 of 5 spirits, and could feel the energy filling his body. His stats increased and he was excited about the possibility of becoming a hunter if he continued to collect spirits. Suddenly a portal appeared in front of Sung-hoon, and he stood there silently staring at it. Eventually he took a step forward and entered the portal. He found himself in a room, but he immediately collapsed from his injuries being worse than he thought. However, he was soon surrounded by magical energy that healed all of his wounds, and he was able to stand up again. Sung-hoon was presented with a bed, but he decided to ignore it for now and focused on the 5 commands given to him. Info store, community inventory, and trial. He used the command trial and was informed that he had 23 hours and 21 minutes remaining for the second floor trial. He used the command community and saw the confusion among other participants in the tower. Suddenly, an admin named XXX appeared and shared important information about using the points earned from the tutorial trial as currency. Sung-hoon learned that within the tower one can only obtain necessities such as water with points. Learned from trials, he decided to purchase a shield and practiced his moves with a sword. He continued to train until he was exhausted, but the healing effect of the waiting room replenished his energy. He checked his inventory and was shocked to find he only had 40 points. He prepared himself as the timer counted down for the next trial. Determined to survive, the portal activated and someone stepped forward into a forest, ready to face whatever lay ahead. With a flash, someone found himself on the second floor of the Tower of Trials, this time with a challenging task at hand: assassination. His target was the leader of the orc tribe, and he had to complete the mission within the set time limit. As he approached the edge of a cliff, he peered down to see the orc village guarded by a swarm of strong orcs. Sung-hoon was faced with a dilemma. He knew that one of the guards was likely a hunter, making it almost impossible to win with just one person. He considered retreating, but then had an idea. He started a fire in the forest, and used it to distract the orcs and create an opening. As the ORC hunters were away and the guards were occupied with fighting the fire, Sung-hoon saw his opportunity with swift and deadly precision. He took down his target and absorbed the orc spirit using his necromancer trait. The spirit entered his body and his proficiency rose to 9%, but his happiness was cut short by the overwhelming work ahead. Young was caught off guard when he was confronted by a guard and was forced to defend himself with his shield. He used the orc spirit to increase his stats and defeated the guard, improving his recovery and stamina. As he walked out of the burning forest, he was noticed by a group of orcs who were prepared to fight, however, with his increased strength. He easily defeated them with one blow. Another guard snuck up on him and broke his arm, but he still managed to defeat the guard and was about to kill the clan head. When the clan head released a blast of fire that nearly killed Young, he managed to survive and defeated the clan head, but was surprised to see two young orcs clinging to the clan head. One of the young orcs attacked Young, causing Young to realize that even monsters value family. He killed the young orcs in the remaining clan head, completing the second floor of the Tower of Trials. Sung-Yun receives a notification and is transported back to the waiting room where he inspects his damaged shield that once saved his life but is now unusable. He reflects on the recent loss of half his community, and then comes across a whisper about a way to return to Earth. Excited, he uses a command word to purchase a question voucher and learns of a temporary stone for sale that could transport him back to Earth for a few days after completing the 5th floor. Eager to become an A-rank hunter, Sung-Yun checks his stats and is disappointed with his current abilities. However, he absorbs some spirits and his stats soar, causing him to run around in excitement until he crashes into the wall. He uses his command word to purchase a new shield and inspects his rewards from previous trials, a black steel dagger, and an assassin's cape. He trains with his new gear and prepares himself for the next trial, which turns out to be a duel on the 3rd floor of the Tower of Trials in hard mode. Sung-Yun is ready to face his opponent, the Guardian of Darkness, but is taken by surprise and struck from behind. A notification informs him that he must defeat his doppelganger, the Guardian of Darkness. Unactivated his fast recovery and was surprised to see the shadow copying Yuan attack the doppelganger, but the doppelganger retaliated by healing and attacking you. You managed to dodge the attack and attack the doppelganger but was shocked to see it growing from the experience. With only 1 minute left, Sun Yian attacked the doppelganger and dealt great damage but lost his hand. The doppelganger used its healing effect and Sun Moon had to figure out how to defeat it. With only one hand and 11 seconds left, he used his shield to bash the doppelganger and cut off its head. The trial was completed and Young's hand was regenerated. He discovered that his necromancy trait had reached 100% efficiency and had increased from rank F to D. He also gained an additional effect of being able to obtain random skills from absorbed spirits. The 4th trial was to defeat the Goblin King within 1 day. Young was part of a team with Lee Haeon, a girl specialized in helping the team in an E-hunter, and Lee Sung-hyun, a man specialized in close combat, an AD-ranked hunter. Yu introduced himself as a close combat specialist, but not a hunter. When the castle door opened and goblins attacked, Lee Sung-hoon was overpowered and about to be killed, but Yun saved him and told him to stay back. Yun killed the goblins and absorbed their spirits, increasing his strength, agility, stamina and endurance, and obtaining a new skill, Ranger's Knowledge. Yun took the lead while Haeon guided them, while Lee Sung-hoon protected her. However, they found out that another party was ahead of them and had killed many goblins, so they had to reach the boss room before the other party to avoid penalties. Yoon's team arrived at the boss room and had to fight the other team. Young told Hank to buff his agility, and he charged towards the other team, overwhelming and killing their leader. The Haeon asked Yu if he is alright after noticing his hand shaking. Young replies that he is fine and informs them that he plans to immediately face the boss. They consent to this and Union defeats the Goblin King, completing the trail and earning the reward of increased stats by 4 in a new skill. Instant Acceleration. Ranked as they make their way to the waiting room, Lehigh sends friend requests to Hansen Jr. and tells him to visit her at the White Silver Guild after he returns to Earth. Yun also discovers that he can absorb human spirits, but decides to become stronger without killing anyone. However, if the situation demands it, he will kill. The Tower of Trial has given him the chance to become stronger, and he intends to seize it. Yoon enters the 5th floor lobby and creates an alias, changing his name from Hansen Yoon to Hunter Sung Jun Chong. He checks the rankings and is surprised to find himself at 16th place. The system informs him that those in the top 50 will be known as pioneers and receive benefits on the 8th floor. Yoon absorbs the soul he currently possesses, increasing his stats permanently. He buys a return stone, which allows him to return to Earth for 3 days. He returns to Earth, wakes up in his bed, and finds his weapon there as well. He considers selling the weapon, but knows he must be a hunter to do so. He calls Director Wong and asks to take the 100 test, but Wong tells him it will be a waste of time and he will fail again. Union insists on taking the test and pays the membership fee at Langer Green. He meets Inspector Kim, who will grade the hunter test. Wong instructs Kim to make the test difficult. Yoon is asked to choose a difficulty level between 1 and 10, and shocks Wong by choosing level 10. The test is to defeat a phoenix, and Wong is convinced that Yoon will fail. Yu uses his instant acceleration to jump above the phoenix and stab it with his sword, but the blade is too short to kill it. He throws a tile from the floor, which cuts through the phoenix's head. The test ends and Yuan is granted a hunter license. Rank C. The Rank C hunters question how Young passed the test, and Yoon confronts Wong about calling him a failure before Wong tries to hit Yoon, but Yoon dodges and strikes back. The inspector tries to recruit unions of the German Hunter Association, but Yoon declines because he doesn't trust Wong. 2 days later, the news of the Tower of Trial is released to the public. Yoon has used his 3 days productively selling his equipment at a decent price. The system informs him that he will soon return to the Tower of Trial, and Yoon is excited to continue growing stronger. Upon returning to his waiting room, Yuan receives an achievement in a new skill truth ranking, which allows him to determine the truth of a person's work. Young buys a sword rank C and a shield rank D+. The sword has a 10% chance of stunting the opponent when hitting them. Yu entered the 5th floor with the aim of defeating the Wolf Gorge. He encountered several wolves that attacked him, but he easily defeated them. He then faced a larger threat, but still managed to defeat it with a single strike. This improved his Hunter Dagger skill to rank and his fast recovery to rank D. After killing all the wolf monsters, he absorbed them and continued his search for the Wolf Gorge. During his search, Young came across a few injured wolf monsters, likely caused by a high-ranked hunter. He heard a sound and went towards it, only to find the dead body of the Wolf Gorge and a notification that the trial had been completed by an intruder from another dimension. A figure in knight-like armor emerged from a cave and immediately launched an attack on Yoon. Despite Nun's efforts to counter, he was unable to penetrate the intruder's high-rank armor. The intruder then took advantage and broke Young's arms with a swift blow. Young was taken aback and wondered why an intruder was in his trial and why such incidents kept happening. The intruder was about to attack again, but Young stopped him by asking how he entered the trial. The intruder revealed that it was through a feature called floor intrusion, which allowed one to interfere in other people's trials. After completing the 8th floor trial, Young used his Eye of Truth to determine if the intruder was lying, but to his surprise he wasn't. The intruder was angered by Yuna's aggressive stance and attacked him again. Yun quickly healed his hands using his accelerated regeneration and absorbed all the stored souls, thereby increasing his stats in a split second. Yun retaliated, now with increased strength. Overpowering the intruder was forced to use his special skill Sword Aura, but uneasily dodged and countered. However, to his disappointment, his attacks were still unable to penetrate the intruder's armor. Young then used his Thunder Sword, shocking and immobilizing the intruder. The intruder was bewildered by Young. Exceptional skills on the 5th floor, and before he could say anything more, Yun stabbed him in the neck, ending his life. With a thrilling notification, Young learned he had conquered the 5th floor. To his shock, he discovered he could claim the intruder's soul, resulting in some well-deserved bonuses. To use Delight, he was awarded an A-rank skill known as 3 Laceration. Eager for his next challenge, Yun ventured forth to the 6th lobby. We hope you've enjoyed this exciting tale. If you'd like to see more, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe and leave a comment for part 2.